Welcome to Classy and Unfiltered, where we mix a little elegance with a whole lot of realness.
I'm your co-host Jaydah.
And I'm your co-host Shaughnessy.
And we're here to bring you unfiltered conversations about life, relationships, pop culture, and everything in between.
So grab a snack, get comfy, and let's dive into today's episode.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Classy and Unfiltered. Today we are joined by our significant others, and we're going to be talking about how we met, first impressions, and all the real stuff.
Yeah, so this is my husband. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, my name's Lionel. Excited to be here.
My name's Aiden, and I'm excited for this episode.
So I'll let you guys go first. So how long have you guys been dating?
We've been together for almost 2 years.
Okay, tell us a little bit about your story, how you met.
Do you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
You can go first, and then I'll kind of
Okay.
put mine.
So, okay, I can just share my point of view. He is a year older than me, and we went to the same school, but we also hung around the same group of people, but we never talked to each other.
Yeah.
And then my best friend and his best friend are dating, and they kind of just kept making jokes about us, and then it eventually ended up like a year later into something.
Where did you meet that it became something?
So basically, we just had a church group on Fridays, and me and Jaydah would both go. We didn't always go to the same, on the same Fridays, but it wasn't planned or anything. She would just show up some Fridays. I would show up some Fridays. And basically we would always kind of, I don't know, not really talk or anything, but it was just the fact that we were both there. It was, I don't really know how to explain it. It's a very weird way that we actually started talking. It would just be people kind of making jokes about us getting together or about us talking or hanging out, and it was just kind of that tension there that kind of I felt built the curiosity of each other. And so basically, eventually I got the whole thing where he started getting her, you got her Snapchat or you got her phone number, and we just started texting back and forth, and I finally invited her out we went to Dave & Buster's for our first, I guess, kind of date.
No, we didn't.
Well, we did yeah.
Our first date was, again, we went to church events all the time, and we would say hi and bye, but no conversation. It was just super awkward. But no, our first date was, we went.
Oh, so we did the hangout between all our friends. So a bunch of our friends were going to Dave & Buster's, and so I get them mixed up because we did also do our first date at Dave & Buster's, but before that we had a hangout with our friends. And basically, I guess Jaydah didn't really know that I was going to this hangout. I knew she was going, and I knew they were trying to I guess hook me up with her, but I didn't really think of anything. I just really wanted to hang out with my friends, basically. So that's kind of why I went, to be honest. And so I got off of work and got changed and everything. We went to Dave & Buster's, and yeah, we didn't really talk at all there. We just kind of were, again, in the same area, and people were just making jokes and stuff like that. And after that, I think you texted me or something like that, or thanks for coming, or I don't even know. But basically we just started talking after that, text messages and stuff like that. And yeah, I invited her again out to Dave & Buster's for our first date. And you could tell them a little bit about our first date, how it went.
But our first date wasn't at Dave & Buster's. Our first date was roller skating.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, I'm forgetting. So,
yeah. So, our first official date, I think our first date was better than our second date.
Definitely.
Yeah, it was. Our first date, we went roller skating, and we just got to know each other, and I think that was super fun. But then our second date, we went to Dave & Buster's, and it was super awkward, and there was really no conversation.
Originally, we were supposed to go ice skating for our first date, so we went to the skating gym, and it was closed. So I had to think fast, and I did. We went roller skating instead, and Jada didn't know how to roller skate or nothing like that. So it made it a little, I guess, a little bit better because she didn't. She was kind of, trying to learn and stuff like that, and that's how we kind of talked more throughout that date. Um, but yeah, it was very, very small talk on both dates.
So what kept you guys like together? What, like, if it was awkward, you guys didn't talk much, how did you continue dating?
A lot of patience, a lot of trust, and God, if I have to be super honest.
Yeah.
Because I feel like with me, it was like pulling teeth. Like, you couldn't get a conversation out of me. I've never been on a date before. So it was like super, super weird.
Yeah, and like basically, my thing with it is Jada would like always, it was kind of like that point where she's like very comfortable on the phone, so she would like text me and like be full on like an open person. But then when I saw her in person, it was like completely different. But she would always tell me like, trust me, like I have a great personality. I'm really funny. You just have to get to know me.
She hyped herself up.
So like that's basically what kept me going is that as long as I keep hanging out with her, like eventually she's gonna be like more open and things will get better. So that's kind of like, yeah, I think.
Okay.
A lot of trust.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
And it was like, yeah, like I guess it's like it took like a whole month of us like actually being around each other for her to say one word, I guess.
Thanks. Not just one word. But yeah, I think in the beginning it took us like a full 2 months for us to like get like actually comfortable with each other. Or yeah.
Lionel and I feel like we're the exact opposite.
Mm-hmm.
So Lionel and I started talking. I was 15. He was 17. I had just turned 15. And we started talking over Instagram. And we had a mutual friend. Started talking over Instagram in May. And then we didn't meet in person until October. And it was very like, I felt like he knew like everything about me. And I knew this much about him. But I was just a little open book, and so very, very different.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said in the first episode, when I first saw him, I gave him a hug because I felt like I knew him. We talked for 5 months. Like, he was already my best friend. Like, I don't know. It was weird. But then we met up, and I actually met Jada the same day.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we've been dating ever since. Well, okay, we broke up for 5 days. But other than that, in 2020, but other than that, we've been dating ever since. We got engaged August of 24 and got married December of 24.
Mm-hmm.
What is your version? Because I think your version's a little different.
Yeah, what would your point of view be?
We just started talking on Instagram, and yeah, it was 5 months.
Yeah, it was May to October.
Yeah, and it was somewhere in the summer, right?
Yeah, it was May.
It was May.
Sounds like I'm quizzing. No, but at the time I didn't have a car, and neither did she. And but I was going shopping somewhere, and I actually saw her. But I never said hi to her.
Didn't say hi. He Snapchatted me later and was like, "Were you at this place today?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I saw you."
Yeah, I actually hid.
I was like, "Why didn't you say hi?"
She walked into a store that we were going to go to, and I actually walked out. And
Where was that at?
it was Miramar.
Oh.
And yeah, I just ran away because I was
Wow.
too scared to talk to her. But then a couple months later, we hung out. And so it was in October, and we went to a
haunted hike.
hike. And yeah, that was interesting.
Tell the story of the hike. Tell like how that went.
Well, first our parents dropped us off because we didn't have cars. So I show up with Jaydah and my cousin, and I was gonna say my cousin at the time, but he's still my cousin. And we show up at this place for the haunted hike. She gives me a hug, and I'm not a huge hugger or physical touch person, but she just gives me a giant hug, and I was like, all right, okay. And then we walked into the hike, and she didn't go inside the hike. They're like the scary part.
To be fair, I waited in line and it was fine. I was like talking myself out of it. I don't think we talked. I think I was talking to my friend who came with me because she could drive. Because Lionel and I didn't drive for like the first 2 years of us dating.
Oh yeah.
No, and maybe it was a year.
Yeah.
Maybe a year and a half. So like our parents drove us everywhere. Anyways, but yeah, at the hike, we were just like in line. Lionel and I didn't really talk to each other. Also, Lionel's very reserved and quiet. I'm not. So that played like an interesting role in it, especially meeting for the first time. But we were in line, and then we all start to walk in. I was here, and then Lionel was right behind me. Yeah.
Of everyone.
And I set foot in there, and I heard a loud bang. I about knocked Lionel over running out of there. He continued to go. It's still a sore subject. He continued to go.
I paid for the tickets, so I was going to get my money's worth.
Whatever. And I waited at the end of the line, and then I saw Jaydah run out. I saw Lionel run out. Isaiah, everyone darted out of there, and I was just standing there waiting for them. And we went, had pizza there.
And they all were trying to be slick and trying to get us alone together.
Yeah, like each one of us walked away.
Yeah, so it's just us.
I'm gonna go run inside. I need to use the restroom. Whatever.
So it's just us eating pizza at this just random place, and I was so nervous I kept tapping my hand or something, and she goes and she slams my hand down, and she tells me to stop. So
I remember that.
ever since then, it's been love.
Goodness. What the heck?
No, but yeah,
Yeah.
now we're married.
Our first real date, once Lionel could drive, he picked me up from my house, and we went to the movies. We went to go see. We just talked about this.
It was called The Upside.
The Upside or something.
Not a good movie.
No, it wasn't. It was weird. And then we went to Chick-fil-A, and then we went to the parade downtown Fort Myers. That was our first real date. I think it was one of the first times I've driven with you, because that's why it was one of our first dates.
And it was the first time like I drove like that much.
Yeah, we were. I think you were 19.
No.
18.
Mm.
Okay,
Yeah, it
so
would have been that.
so yeah, so it was like a year-ish after we had been talking or so, and then as Lionel and I started dating, Jaydah and I got close, and then but
We very early actually became very close, because I would always go with them. I was always third wheeling.
yeah,
So then
which was fine, like fun. Like we never cared. We loved having Jaydah with us.
yeah, I always slept over, and
Yeah, it was fun. The closer Lionel and I became, the closer Jaydah and I became. And then
Yeah, we always had Jaydah and Bowie.
Jaydah and Bowie's my little sister. We were always
tag-alongs.
Yep.
little tag-alongs, but it was always so fun. Like I remember like our summers when Lionel and I were dating. Like they just were when we were all younger. Like it just was so fun. It was a core memory.
it's weird. Yeah, not weird, but like we all grew up together.
Yeah. We did. And especially like I've lived here for 9 years. It'll be 9 years this summer. And Lionel and I have been together for 7 years this year. So like most of my time I've lived here, I've been with Lionel. So like he's been the constant since moving here, which is really cool.
I've changed you to a Florida girl.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Do we want to get into the first impressions?
Yeah. Why don't you guys go first? Aiden, what was your first impression of Jaydah?
So my first impression of her was definitely that she was very. I thought she was very. If I had to explain her, I would definitely explain someone like a basic white girl. So I thought she was very like stuck up, because she didn't talk at all. So I made my own impressions of her, and I thought she was very like stuck up and like to herself, and she just didn't really care about anything, and I didn't really like that. And um, I definitely felt like I was the only person trying in the beginning, and I would definitely say that was like during our like David Buster's experience, like on our first date, or second date. It was like my opinion was kind of like getting closer to, like I was closer to like thinking like, okay, maybe she is kind of like that, because she basically didn't talk, and I would just kind of talk to her like, yo, you want to get food? She would like, yeah, or she would like, yeah, like everything was like one word answers. So I felt really like I was just there, basically like babysitting a kid or something, if I had to explain it. Because I would tell her like, yo, you want to go play this game? She'd be like, sure. You want to go play this game? Sure. You want to go play this game? Sure. And she
So-
would just say yes and sure to everything.
Yeah,
Never say no. And I just felt like I was like trying to entertain something.
I pretty much just agreed with everything. I have a lot of anxiety. So, again, I've never had a date. Like, this was my first time, like, being on a date. So I didn't know, like, how to start a conversation. And, like, especially like, at Dave and Buster's, it's not like you're really spending time together. You're just, like, doing stuff. So,
Playing
Yeah.
skee-ball.
Well,
Yeah.
So like I guess I could understand like why you would have been like more quiet and more reserved. Like if it was your first date. Aiden, was it your first date?
No.
Okay. So that makes a little more sense.
yeah. So even in the beginning, before we even started dating, we were still talking. And I had so much anxiety built up. I was like, I don't think I could do this. Like, I was just like, I don't think I can do it, because I was just so anxious, and I literally like was giving up. I was tapping out. But yeah,
I was tapping out.
he stayed patient, so it's fine.
What was your first impression of Aiden?
Honestly,
Oh my goodness.
I'll be honest.
no,
like,
no,
you
no,
can
no,
be honest.
no, I know. No, he actually reminded me a lot of Lionel, and he's still even more and more. He reminds me a lot of Lionel, which is weird. But, you're pretty quiet.
Yeah, I was pretty quiet as well. But
So I
just
was
felt
like, I'm shy in a lot of ways, but like he's very like calm. Like he's very like he's complete opposite of me. But I don't know. I don't think I had any like bad
So
impressions of you.
sorry, I'm gonna cut you off. But like, so it seems like both of you had. You were like, he's quiet, and Aiden said she's a typical white girl, which I'm a little offended because I don't know what being a white girl has to do with being stuck up, but that's a conversation we can have off camera. We can talk about that later. But like, what, like, I feel like I'm missing the connection because you both
Right.
seem like you hated each other at
Yeah.
first.
No, I think I just had such a hard time. Like I was like okay, so for my previous relationship, and then I was single for 2 years between my previous and Aiden. So like I just was so used to being by myself. I didn't know how to like, I don't know. But then honestly, I'm not even joking, a lot of prayer. I think that, I don't know, there was multiple times like I would leave church crying in my car, and we've literally talked about this. I was like, if this is not the man for me, like literally take him out, like right now. I don't want him. And
Strike him down.
and then I was like, but if he is, then give me signs. And I remember one night, like I literally could cry about this. I was like, give me signs, and like an hour later he texted me and he was like, I think we can like I'll stay patient with you or whatever. And then I don't know. And then I realized like he was it was worth it.
Pretty decent.
Yeah, pretty decent.
Yeah. It's just like it's all about like the fact for me is that Jada was like not very she was very like I guess the conversations were good like through text and then in person they were like it was like she was a completely other person. But I just she kind of told me and kept warning me that she's not who she was in person and that she's more of like an outgoing person and I just have to keep spending time with her. So that's like back to like that basically. And that was like basically our connection between it. And then once we got like 2 months in, it was just like once we both opened up, we were like having so much fun, always going to like the beach, always doing stuff, and like our relationship just grew more and more, and our connection grew more and more since then.
That's cool.
Yeah. We just had it took a bit for us
Definitely,
to
yeah.
open up. But yeah, we're good now.
Mhm.
First impressions?
You can go first. So,
Well,
like texting or meeting in person? What are we
I would say like meeting in person.
meeting in person?
meeting in person. Well, yeah, like I said, she came up and gave me a giant hug. I was not ready for that. I still think about that every day.
I do too, honestly.
And I thought she was just a super outgoing person, but like in a good way.
Okay.
No, she was super outgoing, and I remember I didn't know how to say her name because we started through text, and I had no idea how to say Shaughnessy. I don't know what I thought it was, and so I would show my cousin and stuff, and we were trying to figure out the name. So we called you like Hennessy or something because we didn't know how to say your name, but yeah, and then I forgot what I was gonna say. But I didn't know how to say your name, and yeah. But it was weird because we were just texting each other, so I felt like I knew a lot about you. But then we
FaceTime. Like we FaceTime before we ever met, and as Isaiah said in the speech, when you hung up from FaceTiming for the first time, you said she's weird.
yeah. You are weird. I don't take that back. But but
That's the true first impression.
yeah.
The true first
she's
impression
just
is
weird.
she's weird and she's outgoing.
Yeah.
But like, what made you then like? Oh, okay, like I think we could go somewhere because we're 7 years in, almost 7 years in, and married.
Yeah.
It's just still weird to say.
Well, I guess it was actually knowing you, like, in person, rather than texting you.
Oh, I'm getting all
What?
I have a problem.
But yeah, I guess that's my first impression. And then meeting her family, your family, and meeting everyone else, just was very welcoming and funny and like just crazy, but in a good way. So yeah, I guess those are my first impressions.
Okay. So, yeah. So on Instagram, I was the one who reached out to Lionel in the first place.
I don't think that's true.
No, here's what happened. I followed you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And
Oh, that's what I was
you
gonna say.
didn't.
Sorry, I'm sorry. You followed me on Instagram, and I thought you were a bot. I thought you were spam. Because your picture, yeah, because your picture was just like perfect, and you're private. So I was like, oh, this is just one of those bots that just follows me because
Take it whatever you want.
I get those.
Way you want to.
Yeah, and I showed people, and they're like, you're texting her. It's like, yeah, and they're like, are you sure she's real? so I'll go back. My first impressions was, okay, she's real, because we never, because we FaceTimed and I saw you in the at the mall, but when I actually saw you like talk to you, I was like, oh, okay, she's for real.
So she was weird and a spam.
Yeah, I thought I was getting catfished. I watched a lot of Catfish growing up, so
I guess it's a compliment. I don't really know.
I think it's a compliment.
But I saw you on Instagram, and I remember telling my friend, I was like, he looks like he loves Jesus, he loves his family, and he loves fishing, which I didn't care about. But he just looked like such a sweet guy, and like he always looked so joyful and so happy in his pictures. And I needed a guy like that. And so that was like my first impression. Then we started texting, and then I was like, he's so sweet. Like, he's just such a sweet guy. And you could tell you loved your family. And I really love that. Like, I really, really admired that. And I had never talked to a guy who, like, you could, like, they were sweet and they were genuine and they loved their family and they loved Jesus. And, like, I loved that. And I thought that was so attractive. And then as we started dating, I remember telling Titi, I was like, this kid's perfect. Like, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, I literally remember we were driving and I was like, something's wrong. Like, I'm missing something. Like, this kid's perfect. Like,
Too good to
he
be true.
doesn't, like, it was, like, definitely too good to be true. Like, that was probably the best, like, wording. Like, like, there's no issues. There's no issues in his family. Like, they're all perfect. There's no issues with Lionel. Like, he's just, like, this perfect kid. And that was, like, my first impression of you. That was my first impression of you for a very long time. Like,
Boy,
that's
are
just...
you misunderstood.
That's just, that's just what, like, I just thought you were perfect and too good to be true. And definitely, like, if you were this perfect, why were you with me? Like, we're very, very different people, especially at that time.
That's
Oh, yeah.
funny because I thought the same thing. It's like,
What?
That's just crazy.
no, not about you.
Oh.
No. No, I was like, we're just complete opposite. And I was like, he's a little bit, like, too calm. And, like, I feel like he has all his crap together. And I just...
Yeah.
That's like another thing I would say is why we kept going too, is because I really like that Jaydah was very family oriented too. I remember like way before, I don't know if this was after Dave and Buster's or the first time I ever met you, I think was at the Taste the Nations.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we had a
And
church event.
That's even before we went to Dave and Buster's, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that day, like everybody practically thought like we were gonna get together. Her whole family like already liked me, was talking to me, and I guess that's kind of like what kept me going too. Is that like I was like, all right, her family already kind of likes me, and I kind of like got to know everybody. Like first time I met Jaydah, I met her entire family, as well, and I like that she was very family oriented. So that's something I told my mom about, and yeah.
What was both of your families, like, first reaction to the other one? Or, like, what did they think of them now? What is your relationship with their family? Stuff like that.
I would say my family, honestly, I think he got closer to my family than, he got closer quicker to my family than he got closer to me.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
and, I don't know. So yeah, he obviously met my family, before we even started talking. Like, it was, like, right before we started talking. And, but I didn't meet his family until, a month after we,
Yeah, something like that.
yeah. So, I love his family. They're my family.
But what does your family think about me?
Oh, I think they love you.
Like first impression?
Oh, well, I'm the girl. I'm the youngest girl, so no. No, it's not that they didn't like you, but, they definitely kept their eyes on you.
Mm-hmm.
But they love you now, and you know that.
Yep.
I think they love him more than me. It's okay.
My mom has told me that she loves Lionel more than me.
Yeah.
Well,
Lionel's her favorite. I think out of my sister, my brother, and me, Lionel's the favorite. He trumps us all. She's told me that many times. Yeah, but my family loved Lionel from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Loved him. Like all of them. Like my little brother's, the first name he ever said was Lionel. Actually, it was Ninel.
Still is.
But still is Ninel. He's 6. It's not Lionel. It's Ninel. But they've always loved you. And I think the longer we've been together, the more they love you and the more, like, it was always, if we're going on a family trip or, like, even every, like, time we would go out to dinner, is Lionel coming? Yes. Like, it was never, like, I never had to ask if he could come over. Like, it was always, is Lionel coming tonight? Like, every time.
And that's funny because even still now when, like, he's working and, like, I'm at church alone, everybody's like, where's Aiden? I'm like, there's no hello, Jaydah, where's Aiden?
Yeah. And, like, as for your family, I didn't know if all your family members liked me at first. I was a little...
We have a big family, so...
They have a very big family. I have a very
And-
small family.
And I think it was different because this is like my first year, my first girlfriend. So everyone was like learning together,
Yeah.
like what that means.
Yeah. Did everyone like me at first?
I think so.
I think the people who, like, you know, people who, like, whatever.
But I love them. They're literally, like, my family. I consider them my family. I've considered them my family for years, but I love them. Yeah. You go.
With your family or?
Yeah. Like, what were your, like... Well, I guess you kind of just answered that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to start the Q&A?
Yeah. So I have some questions. Let's see. All right.
Oh, I'm nervous.
Here's some rapid fire Q&A questions. All right. Oh, okay. Aiden and Jaydah. Who's the bigger spender in the relationship?
I would say me for sure.
It's definitely him.
What is the most ridiculous argument you've ever had?
That's a good one.
We have a lot of them.
There's a lot of, yeah.
Jaydah's very short tempered.
Thank you. I don't remember exactly what it was about, but I remember at the end we both were like, what the heck are we even fighting about? Like, we were just fighting just to fight.
We've definitely done that before.
Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
even remember what it was about. I can't even tell you.
Who plans the better dates?
Me.
Yeah, I would say him. I just, like, with that stuff, I'm like, again, tell me what time and, like, whatever.
Yeah, Lionel too. Okay, Lionel. Who's the messier one? I didn't actually mean to read that first. I didn't even mean to read that one to you.
Definitely me. Yeah.
Who's more stubborn?
I think Shaughnessy's more stubborn. You're definitely more stubborn.
I feel like you both are, like, equal.
We are both
With
pretty
different-
stubborn.
With different things.
Yeah.
Our kids are going to be rough. What is my most annoying habit?
Being married for how many? 5 months now? I've realized that you don't put the toilet paper roll on the toilet paper thing. Like you just let it
Yeah.
you just let it off and then no, the worst part is you get toilet paper and then you put it by the sink.
Well, the sink
So,
and the toilet are right next to each other.
I know, yeah, but you don't just take it off, put it on. It's just simple. It's
All
weird.
That would
right,
bother
all
him.
right. Jaydah and Aiden, who said I love you first?
It was me.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
It's a. Oh no!
don't know.
That
We
one
don't-
was me. I said I love you first.
Okay.
Who initiated your first kiss?
Me.
Can we actually go into that really quick?
Go into it.
I apologize. I feel bad.
Yeah, the first time it didn't go well.
Oh, what happened?
Because you can. Okay, go ahead.
I forgot when it was, but basically she just like dodged me completely and walked inside and didn't say nothing. Didn't text me, did nothing. I thought it was over.
Yeah, I don't even know. I was just so nervous. So I, like, he initiated it and I just turned my head and I walked out the door. But then he tried
I
to.
initiated it again, like it was like maybe a week later, and
No, it was not a week later. It was like 2 weeks later.
yeah.
And I remember he was leaving my house and he was like, "We can't hug forever." So
I did
then,
say that.
That's pretty smooth, Aiden.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
and then yeah.
Yeah, ours is up in the air who initiated our first kiss.
It was definitely you.
I disagree.
It was definitely you.
I actually am gonna disagree.
It was definitely
We
you.
both kind of just like looked at each other.
Like, should we?
It was a little bit like we looked at each other kind of like we were in a movie. That definitely happened. It
Yeah.
definitely was like
There's fairy lights.
there were fairy lights.
Yeah.
No, there literally were. It was very like we just kind of looked at each other and
It was actually really awkward. You were my first kiss. You are my first kiss.
So cute.
So cute.
Okay, one more for each. Jaydah and Aiden. Who's most likely to forget your anniversary?
Aiden.
No.
Yeah.
Let's see. Like, what's our anniversary? December 13th.
13th.
Yeah, I know it. So I'd say none of us.
But I say
We're
no.
both good.
No, I
We're
would.
both good.
I would say if it would be him because like Easter was a week ago and he didn't even know it was Easter.
Yeah, but like.
And he doesn't-
Okay, all right.
I forget it's that stuff, but not our anniversary.
Okay, that's the only thing you remember.
Yeah.
But everything like he
So
forgets
none of
about
us.
everything else.
Yeah, but I remember our anniversary. So none of us.
All right, last one, Lionel. Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Getting juicy.
Sorry, there's so many. What is something you admire the most about our relationship?
The heck?
This is a serious one.
What I admire the most about our relationship. I guess I feel like I can be just me with you and you can be you with me.
Just cute. Yeah, I agree.
That was a good answer.
All right, sorry guys, you guys get one more. Answer the question. Same question.
Same question.
Something I admire between the both of us is that we kind of have the same humor. And so basically we're able to just laugh at each other until literally we start like get short of breath. Like both of us are always so happy around each other and we always make each other laugh, and that's something I admire the most.
That's cute.
That was cute. Do we want to ask, like, what are you guys' love languages?
Oh, to receive or to give?
You can do both.
My favorite to give. So that's what I give people or you. Or
Specifically me.
quality time.
What's your favorite to receive?
Quality time.
Okay. My favorite to give is probably quality time. My favorite to receive is quality time or physical touch.
Yeah.
Same.
I would say I like physical touch, but then I like to give like acts of service or like words of affirmation.
Oh, acts of service.
I feel like I give acts of service. I think actually I forgot about that one. I feel like
Yeah.
the one I do is I give acts of service. My favorite to receive is quality time or physical touch.
I just feel like I'm just like always trying to help, but yeah. What would you say?
I would say my favorite to receive is definitely it's hard.
It is hard.
Yeah.
So what do you like to give?
For sure to give would be more physical touch and quality time. And then to receive is I don't know.
There's gift giving, acts of service, physical touch, quality time, and words of affirmation.
Words of affirmation would probably be my receive.
That was good. Well, thank you guys for being on the pod
Yeah.
this episode.
This was fun.
It was fun. Would you come on again?
I'd come on again, and also you can follow me at.
All right.
You can get my music at.
Your music.
Oh, sorry, wrong podcast.
Anyways, thank you guys for tuning in for this episode. You guys can follow us on Instagram and TikTok.
Don't forget to subscribe, like the video,
Yes.
and we'll see you on the next episode.
Bye.